Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the birthplace of bebop, Minton's Playhouse here in Harlem, New York. As you know, here on the Pace Report, I've continued to cover live music here as this COVID-19 pandemic unfolds. But before I begin, please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on my YouTube page as well as Vimeo, as well as follow me online at thepacereport.com for my weekly column and my past segments. Tonight here at Minton's Playhouse, I'm delighted to interview and break bread with a pianist who has really for the last 20 years made a very important dent on the jazz scene, bringing not only his very, very important Venezuelan roots and his African roots to jazz, but he's played and recorded and toured with some of the most important iconic jazz icons, ranging from the great Pharaoh Sanders to the great Kenny Garrett. Tonight, pianist Benito Gonzalez is playing music from his brand new CD, Sing to the World, which features the likes of Nicholas Payton, Josh Evans, Essiet, Christian McBride, Sasha Mashin, and Jeff Tane Watts. This gentleman sat down with me to talk about how he put this album together, as well as we reflect on one of his heroes, the great McCoy Tyner. As you might know, we lost Mr. Tyner during the pandemic around this time last year, and he's a very, very important influence on Benito in his composition writing as well as his playing. Also, we sit down and we reflect on his experience playing with Pharaoh Sanders as well as Kenny Garrett, and we talk about his role as a band leader. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Mr. Benito Gonzalez playing music from his brand new CD, Sing to the World, live here at the birthplace of bebop, Minton's Playhouse, here in Harlem, New York, on the Pace Report. Benito Gonzalez, Sing to the World, your fifth record, Rainy Day Records. Now, I set the piece up. I've known you for quite a while, and
Yes.
this album right here, Nicholas Payton, Joshua Evans, Esiet Esiet, Christian McBride, Sasha Mashin, and Jeff Tane Watts. How in the world did you get all of these guys into one studio?
Well, it came about 2 years ago when I met the people from Rainy Days, and they were excited to produce some music. So they asked me, so what do you have in mind? I already had this album in mind, and I had the music, and I had the personal. So I was like, well, I have one, and I wanted to show you some tracks. So we play some tunes live, and I show it to them. And when they heard it, they said, let's do it. Just let me know when you want to do it, and let's go for it. And I called the cats. I called them. They record with me. You remember they recorded also my own circles
Right.
that you did,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun. Sing to the World is about freedom. It's about you know it's about waking up on these times. Like it seems like freedom is being a little funny, especially in here in the USA with the police. And I think everybody's looking for freedom. It doesn't matter where you live. Like if you're in Russia or you're in Europe, they trust me. They looking for freedom. Sing to the World is about freedom. It's about that voice and that music that ask for freedom and to generate that kind of feeling that we have that freedom, because it's a open album. We play. I wrote music specifically for this format.
Now, this is timely because two of the songs were inspired by a gentleman who we lost over a year ago, NEA Jazz Master and icon McCoy Tyner, and we lost him during this COVID pandemic. And I want you to, one, tell me what McCoy means to you, what he means to jazz, and how these two songs, um, Song of the New World and Fly with the Wind, how they had an influence on your composition writing.
Yes, um, a lot. Like McCoy to me is that uh, is that freedom. It's like infinity. You know, I think with Coltrane they was doing it, but they was able to play music that doesn't stay on the same place. Like the music is always moving. So McCoy inspired me that way. Like his music is so open. It's never stays the same when he plays, because the reason why he's like my piano hero is because he play in a way that the music is always moving. You don't feel like his music is boxed or boxed in, or like doesn't have any growth. His music is always moving. So he inspired me to do this, and also you know thinking about all the things that we've been through with the pandemic also, and and before the pandemic, there was like some things going on here with, you know, it's a racist, uh,
Economics.
yeah. So this album was inspired by that, and McCoy is a huge part of this, like Coltrane. They were like, and Miles too. Miles. They were like playing music based on that, and I think it shows. And I feel like we need this music now, like more than ever. I mean, I feel like this music is very relevant. That kind of sound is very relevant at these times where we need to find that freedom. We have the freedom, but it's like maybe, not for other people. Other people want to make you feel like you don't have so much freedom, and I think music is speak for all of us. Music is the biggest tool that we have to change the world, I think.
You hit it on the money. I mean, music for me is liberation, and you're from Venezuela, and one of the things that I've noticed about just music in general, you guys can't speak the King's English, but you guys can speak it by those same notes. Those notes, a Russian, a Jewish person, an Israeli, an African, a Jamaican, they understand those same notes.
Yes, sir. Yes, I think that when you play music, there is open, that it moves you. It will speak to you. It'll make you move, like you say, for sure. That's why Coltrane was able to 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 get that far, and McCoy and Miles. Miles was like he was definitely like an ambassador of freedom. Miles and all of them. I think
Duke Ellington.
Duke. Oh, how about Charlie Parker? I think that as an artist today, I want to make sure that I always trying to have a little voice from our community for whatever we're going through, and that really inspired me to write the music, and it was great to use to have like Jeff Watts and Christian McBride and Sasha Machine, because they understand where I come from rhythmically, because it's all based on African rhythms. Of course, straight ahead is also so, but we have a lot of different branches of African music on it, and I wanted to show like different aspects of my African rhythms on it.
two other things that I love about this recording. One, there are other original compositions, and one of them you went in hard, Roy Hargrove. Now, Father wasn't, if I understand, wasn't recorded, but you transcribed it and you guys came out and played this.
Yeah, yeah. It's a funny story with that song and Roy, because I started playing at the jam session in 2007 when I moved to New York from Washington, and Roy used to come every week. So he showed me this tune pretty much, probably the second time I saw him, and he showed me the voicings on the piano. He sat on the piano, and you know, he never asked me to play the song at the jam. He just wanted to show me the song, and I learned it. I learned the song. It's a beautiful tune, and eventually, like at the jam, when the jam was hot and we was playing and Roy was there, he was always sitting, and then he would come and solo on a song, on a blues. Then he would start playing Father because he knew that I knew the song. What a beautiful composition. And I asked him if he wrote it for his father. And he said, yes, for the real one, for God. And that's what this tune came about. It's all about I think it's the spiritual element of music. It's a tune that is very spiritual. I mean, if you hear the melodies, it's beautiful. And it has that Roy Hargrove, signature of writing. It's so like, it's crispy. It's like his music is always, it has that special thing. It has that like hot sauce on it.
I miss him.
Oh man,
I miss him. I mean, last couple of weeks. In fact, last couple of weeks I've been going to some music venues and just interacting with a lot of musicians I haven't seen during this COVID, and man, all things came back to Roy Hargrove.
Sure.
I mean, I remember vividly, man. Like I would go see a couple of sets, and then that late night jam session at Smalls, he'd come out, pull that horn, and play relentlessly.
Yes, sir. He was he was living for the music. He gave his life to the music. That was Roy to me. He gave his life to the music. He was not holding back. He always gave to the music what he thought it needed. Like when he saw the scene in New York, he was like, well, I think they need this kind of help, and then he will go there and trying to be present. There is some other contemporaries like with Roy that they didn't hang out so much, and it's okay. I mean, I respect that. But Roy was hanging out, like he was doing what we needed, and thank God he was out there, because like the scene in New York changed a lot because of him, and he learned a lot of lessons, like because he also did it before, and he was talking about when he used to go to slugs and and sitting there at the jam session, he used to get his ass. He said, man, I used to come and sit in and they play, body and soul in every key, but I only knew it in E flat. So and then they will leave me the solo in a different key. So, that made me learn to respect the scene and to be always in the scene, in the congregation. It's like we are a huge family that is moving forward. That's New York, and I think Roy was like like an ambassador, like a leader of the New York sound.
Jeff Tane Watts, 412, and Tane, he's a young lion. He came out of that great Wynton Marsalis quartet. Him, Bob Hurst, and Marcus Roberts, and
Right.
he's really the backbone of this recording, along with Christian McBride. How did that come about?
Well, Man, I know, of course, I know Jeff before he knew me. I know Jeff from recordings with, of course, with Winton, with Bramford. I love the way he plays because to me, Jeff is like, is not just straight ahead. He gets inside of what you're trying to do musically and like right away lift you up. And I'm not talking about just playing straight ahead or playing a lot of drums. It's just that he's such a great like his musicianship is so high. His level is like he take the ingredients that you give him and cooked right away and made that sound like amazing. I remember when we did the previous album Circles, he never played the music. He just came to the studio and he saw some of the charts. We went through it. When we play, he was like painting on the spot. He was painting over it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And he comes, you know, he loved strong beats. I can tell. He loved Art Blakey. He loved, you know, Max Roach. He loves Elvin Jones is his hero. I mean, Roy Haynes, you know, and I love the chemistry with him and Christian McBride, and also with Esiet and Tane. I love. Yeah, those two, to me, they create a lot of freedom for me to play and be open. You know, they always keep me open and they listening. The great thing with Jeff also is that it sounds like he's playing a lot, but he's just listening so hard, like he's playing a lot based on what he's getting from you. And that's, you know, that's, I think there's a great, it's a great, he set a great example for like John generations, like drummers, and as well as Christian McBride is like. Totally.
He just won the 6th Grammy a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Congrats. You know, he's one of definitely one of the guys that he deserves that. I mean, we have only a few guys who can play bass like that. You know.
I know.
Yeah. So you know, and he was so cool. You know, I met Christian when I did my first album in 2004, a Starting Point. Mm. And you know, I was trying to use a different bass player, and that bass player couldn't make it. He was like, he couldn't make it. So I went to see Christian McBride playing with Pat Metheny and Antonio Sanchez trio. And
that was bad group.
yeah, so yeah, they were cooking.
Yeah.
That trio cooks.
Yeah.
So when I came to talk to Antonio, because Antonio was helping me to do the album, he's the drummer on it. Christian was there on the side, and I told Antonio, you know, I don't have a bass player for the record. And Christian overheard the conversation and said, "Oh, you need a bass player? I'm here, bro." And right away he walked in and gave me his card. He said, "Call me. You know, I'll be happy to play the music." And you know, I love the trust. You know, when you trust like that, it gives you a lot, because that means that I will give him my best. You know, when you open like that and trust, when you give trust to somebody that way, you're always gonna get the best of that person. So that's how we start. Like, he's on all my recordings. And the last one is the McCoy recording, is Esiet.
brought you to the forefront. We're gonna go into Mr. Kenny Garrett,
Oh yeah.
KG, and yeah, I have to say this. I mean, you guys have been playing for over 10 years now.
Yeah, well, I worked with Kenny. I started with Kenny in 2006, and then I stopped in 2013. I think I played some of my last gigs with him. So it was an amazing experience. I learned quite a bit through the years. I learned so many different things, and I still have things that I learned that I haven't really put in practice with him. He has so much music. I mean, he's like definitely one of those geniuses that he keeps himself open to learn, and that's the key I learned from him. It's like one lesson I learned, that he's like a student always. He's never afraid to ask anyone, what's that you did, that when something catches his ear, he will ask. I noticed that. And that, I'm telling you, all over the world, if we were somewhere and there is a piano player who play a chord that he like, he will ask, oh, can I see? And then, he will apply that into his world. I mean, because Kenny is his sound Kenny's a sound, his experience. He created his own sound, and
The one thing that I love about Kenny, and I told Steve this couple weeks ago, he's so forceful in 3 to 5 notes. He can put pressure on his musicians. I mean, just by 5 notes that comes out that alto, it knocks you out, and it makes the band completely thrust into a whole nother overdrive. Did you experience that a lot with him on the band stage?
oh, of course, so many times, like many nights, many nights, and I felt like a bigger. It was like a bigger experience, like more spiritual than anything. When we recorded the album with Pharaoh,
Live at the radio?
yeah, the Live at the Rhythm sketches of MD, uh, we kind of played in that sound, in that spirit, like open music. I mean, we played tunes, but there were some tunes that were like very open, and I noticed what you're talking about, like more like vividly on the stage. But he was always doing that. I think Miles Davis was a huge influence on him,
Sure was.
and uh, it was amazing for me. I learned so much with him. He was a huge, and he still is a huge mentor, along with Pharaoh. And
I was gonna go into that. I mean, Pharaoh, I've been honored to interview him and interact with him over the years. And one of the things that I have noticed with all the musicians that have played for him, two of the things most musicians say about him is, one, he's very, very humble, and two, he's very generous with the musicians that interact with him on the band stage.
yeah, Pharaoh he's a deep person. He's very deep. He give you a lot of trust. He make you feel very comfortable. So he feel you out, and if he likes you, he make you feel very comfortable, and so you give him the best of you. And I remember the first time I played with him in Europe. It was in Amsterdam. Uh, we started right out of the bag with Lazy Bird, Coltrane. And not just that, we didn't play the head. He said, just start soloing on, and I will come in. He said, build the house for me so I can come in. Now, he told me that right before we had to start. So before then, he treated me really nice. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna build a building. I was playing for at least 10 minutes, and I was very inspired. And he was, when the energy was like that when the house was full and he came in and he played an incredible solo. So that's Pharaoh. He's one of those geniuses. Um, he has no borders. He's playing. Uh, is definitely open. He comes from Coltrane. He talk about Coltrane all the time and Elvin Jones. He loved McCoy. Uh, he says that you know he loved. I love the way he plays because it's more like a sound. Pharaoh is a sound more than chops. He played chops. He played a lot of chops, but he always plays sounds, and he made the sounds mean something. The sounds that he made have a meaning so deep, like it makes you like as a musician playing with him is like it makes you kind of like approach things a little differently in the open perspective. So those two mentors, like Kenny and Pharaoh, were like they still are, and I'm just honored to have share music with them, and I still interact with them, you know, you know. So that's Pharaoh to me.
Benito Gonzalez, what does jazz music mean to you?
That's a good question. I think all along what we're talking about, I think is freedom, is a voice, is our music, whether you're from South America, North America, I think it's our music, it's our voice. It's the best tool that we have to change uh, what's going on. And that's jazz music to me. Or it's a black American music or whatever you want to call it. I think, like they said, it's the classical music from North America, and I think it's our voice, is freedom, and is our voice. It's like is whatever when we feel sad, we play a ballad. When we feel happy, we play a happy tune. When we feel angry, we play angry music. That's jazz. It's like a big salad with so many rhythms, all based in African music, and I think we need more of this music to change the world. And it's been, I think from the last century till now, American music is up there. It's representing. It's like okay, because if you think about classical music, it's been written centuries ago, or like, but American music, like let's say jazz and blues and even hip hop, that American music is like representing, like it's on the top, and I think the reason is because is the message behind. Is like we trying to find that freedom, and is the message behind the music that really gets people. The music is great. It's always gonna be great, but the message behind the notes is what really gets people about American music, like hip hop, all country, Coltrane, yeah, and that's what I think. That's what jazz means to me. To answer your question, man, yeah, I think is a deeper thing than just think about music and blues. And okay, yeah, blues is it comes from you know from segregation, from slavery, but jazz at this point, it has a lot of elements. It's deeper than many things, and it speaks for us. Like it's our voice, and we should use it to change things. We should use it right. When we use it right, in the right spirit, like Margaret Miller said, when we play this music on the right spirit, there is no better way to communicate, like, and to let people know how you're feeling, and how this music can change us. It's amazing. So sing to the world is based on that. I'm trying to put my 2 cents on this huge movement. I stopped like really writing just for writing tunes now. I always trying to have like a meaning on my albums. Like I learned that from Kenny and from Pharaoh. They have like on their sets also, when we play like concerts, they always have like some kind of meaning behind and a message. So that's for me. And I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me. And you're doing a great job also with helping all of us musicians and artists to speak their voice, to like let people know what you're doing, and let people know what we're working on. I think people need to know these kind of things that we're doing, and you have a huge voice on it, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the home of bebop, Minton's Playhouse here in historic Harlem, New York. I'd like to personally congratulate and thank the talented Benito Gonzalez. Make sure you go out and support his brand new CD, Sing to the World, which is now available on iTunes, Amazon.com, and CD Baby. Also, people, please come to Harlem every weekend. Every Thursday night they have a live jam session beginning at 7 o'clock, as well as live jazz booked here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For more information, please visit Minton's website at mintonsharlem.com. I'd like to personally thank Jennifer Jade for her warm hospitality, as well as the staff here at Minton's. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos, as well as visit my website, thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.